Alright, so, after the past couple of months, I need a shorter challenge for this month, so that I can get other things done. Alright, I will do another Sonic Ultimate Challenge idea. What games haven't I done yet? Let's see. I've done Sonic 1, CD, 2, 3, and K, Superstars, all of the Game Gear games, Mania, Mania Plus. No way am I playing Sonic 4. Maybe later for the Sonic Advance trilogy and the Rush trilogy as well. Generations 3DS is not possible for me to emulate at this time of recording. Aha! Sonic Jam for the GameCom! Yeah, everyone will enjoy this. Ugh, no ideas! I'm gonna go to IGN and see what the best rated Sonic game is that I haven't done yet, and to do that game. Holy sh**! A 10 out of 10 Sonic game! Not even the best of the best Sonic games get this high of a rating. This must be the best video game ever for it to get that high of a rating. So, I will be attempting this today. Here is the Sonic the Hedgehog Pocket Adventure Ultimate Challenge. Ding, ding. Oh. The rules are somewhat similar to the main challenge rules. No abilities such as spin dashing, Sonic only, which is definitely not a problem for this game. No checkpoints, I can touch them, but if I die, I have to restart the entire level using save states. Speaking of which, I will only use save states for that purpose, and not during the levels. No Chaos Emeralds because I want to beat this game as base Sonic and story purposes don't count. And finally, I cannot kill a single enemy. An enemy in my books is classified as if Sonic comes into contact with them in ball form and releases an animal. Then it counts as destroying a Badnik. And Badniks who destroy themselves don't count as Sonic does not make direct contact with them. With all the rules out of the way, let's start this pocket adventure. Neo South Island Zone Act 1. This level is your typical average Joe Sonic Grass level. Now, it has been a couple of months since I've done a Sonic Ultimate Challenge video, so I have to readjust to not jump as frequently, as I did hit a couple of enemies and had to restart. And then we meet Coconuts from the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. And other than that, it should not give you trouble whatsoever, and the act is already done. Neo South Island Zone Act 2. Similar to Act 1, it is a really simple level. Get annoyed with the ramp not conserving Sonic's speed, and run on this ramp, which appears only once in this game, and then we make it to the Robotnik fight, and it was just the first boss from Sonic 2, but with a hammer instead of a drill. And that is it, and we've cleared the first zone. Secret Plant Zone Act 1. Now, as a chemical plant knockoff, just flow with the path. However, you will want to be careful when you're jumping on the caps. So do make sure to do a short hop, and the act will be over with quickly. Secret Plant Zone Act 2. Now, like Act 1, just flow with the path while trying it to be careful, and we make it to the Robotnik fight. This one is actually interesting. You have to take a risk by jumping on the platforms and then jumping on Robotnik's head, as you can't attack from below while he is shooting projectiles. And while it was an easy boss, it was interesting. And we can move on to the next zone. Cosmic Casino Zone Act 1. Now, for some odd reason, I can't recall any enemies, and we can go gambling. But do be careful with crushing platforms, as if you get too close to them while hugging the wall, you will be crushed. Also pay attention to the spikes, and that is all you have to worry about, and this act will be cleared in no time. Cosmic Casino Zone Act 2. Now, like Act 1, I cannot recall a single enemy other than the boss in this entire level. And then we just make it to the Robotnik fight, in which he becomes a DVD logo, and then you just have to bounce around, destroy him, and this might be the easiest zone in this entire game. So now we can move on to what I think is the hardest zone in this entire game. Aquatic Relix Zone Act 1. Now here, you will want to be more careful with your actions here, as the Batniks are just fools in this level. Especially this Chomper guy. And this section, with the ramp underwater, just time a jump just right, and the act is over. And you thought that was easy? Welcome to Aquatic Relix Zone Act 2. Oh, I have a lot to say about this level. I have spent an entire hour on this 2-minute level. For reference, that is 1/3 of the entire recording session designated to this one single level. Now let me tell you right now how bad of an idea it is to go underwater, as you have to deal with these chomper enemies that are really hard to avoid while having to worry about drowning and not having enough momentum to get on top of platforms. However, despite going on top of a spring and jumping over a pillar and making it to the higher path, there is also an enemy similar to the chompers in which they get up close to Sonic going, "Hey Sonic, kill me, kill me, kill me, come on, I know you want to kill me!" And because the first one spawns where the Newton's Cradle platforms are, you aren't able to get on them as often, and you just have to deal with a slightly lower path, where I would recommend forcing yourself back up by going on one of these platforms. And even if you fall, try to get back up. Thank you, Fly Badnik. I hate you. Use the spring and loop, and then use another spring, get items, then gain momentum on this pad, then damage boost, and then hold right until the loop, and then immediately jump, and then go onto the spring, and continue right, damage boost past the fly until you fall onto the yellow spring, then run forward until you make it to the red spring section, and then go on top of the platform, and then immediately jump to the next platform, and then jump past Grounder from the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and then use the spring to fall to Hidden Palace Zone? With Knuckles? I'm not gonna lie, but when I first saw this, my jaw just dropped in surprise, because this was right out of nowhere, and worse yet, Knuckles was rather a tough fight, if you don't know what you're doing. And because of that, I kept losing over and over again, which is frustrating because I have to do the whole level over and over again. And this level already drove me mad. So you want to know how to hit Knuckles? By crouching, as he will assume you're about to spin dash, and then try to counter that with a glide, in which I recommend you hit Knuckles' feet. Yes, I am serious, because everywhere else that I tested only led to Sonic taking a hit, so there is a strategy, and we finally take down Knuckles and drops a Chaos Emerald, and that's another zone clear. But Robotnik steals the Chaos Emerald and then flees. And then Knuckles uppercuts Sonic so hard, he gets launched onto the tornado. When I first saw this, I bursted out laughing because of how ridiculous it was. But thankfully, we can finally move away from this horrid zone. Sky Chase Zone. So after the hellhole that was the last zone, we can do a relaxing level, where all we really have to do is steer the tornado, then damage boost, past enemies, and repeat the process, and that's really it for this zone, and it's over with quickly. Areobase Zone. Now this zone is way more involved than the last level. It is pretty much a better designed wing fortress, in which you can't cheese it as easily. Go down and meet Scratch from the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, then carefully platform on these metal things while avoiding fire, then with the last one, jump to gain enough momentum to get on top of the ramp. Then carefully jump or damage boost past enemies, then go through the Mega Man disappearing wannabe section, then time these stupid floor flipper things, get the speed shoes, and then just zoom to the right while damage boosting past everything. And then we do this following section, and then carefully platform on these conveyor platforms, then jump down from here, and then do another disappearing platform section. And on the last one, just hold right, and run up, and get through the flippers, and then we head left, and then float using the fans, and then we make it to Mecha Sonic Mark 1. Which is weird considering Metal Sonic Mecha Sonic Mark 2 already exists. And at this point it's a defective model. Oh well, I guess Robotnik just still had his parts left. And it's pretty much the exact same fight from the very end of Sonic 2, but this time we have rings, so he gets taken down pretty easily, and that's another zone complete. Gigantic Angel Zone Act 1. here we are, the final major level in this game. And it's pretty much if Scrap Brain had a baby with Metropolis. And unfortunately, the level design takes inheritance from Metropolis. So that means you have to be more careful with crushing platforms and not get lost like in Metropolis. And dang it, the enemies from Metropolis are back. Thankfully, this is a much shorter level, so we navigate through the conveyor belt and force Sonic through the upper path by any means necessary, and we complete the act. Gigantic Angel Zone Act 2, where we see Dr. Robotnik pull a Sonic 1, and this time is gracious by not putting Sonic into another labyrinth zone. And to beat the level, it is pretty simple. While falling, bounce off the spring and then get the bonus items, and then go through the teleporter thing, and then run forward so that you have enough momentum to get on top of the ramp, as it is harder to do without the spin dash. Get on this gear, avoid the cruising platforms, damage boost past the crab, climb up the conveyor belt while avoiding the starfish projectiles, go through another teleporter thing, jump across and then go through the loops and then avoid some more crushers, then go onto this gear and then jump on some more springs and then go to the left and pass a loop and then jump over the lava and then get sprung across and then hold left to go to another spring and then go through another teleporter, jump up, fall, and then jump up and then hold forward until you make it to the gear platform and then use the conveyor platform, and then you made it to the Robotnik fight, in which it's pretty much a harder Hydro City Zone Act 2 boss, where you can jump on the explosions to land a hit on Robotnik while he's shooting down projectiles and occasionally going down, so that was another fun boss fight. And then we defeat Robotnik, and then he runs away, and Sonic follows him, thus clearing the zone. Last Utopia Zone. Alright, here we are. The climactic final battle. This will be the hardest Robotnik boss in this entire game, as the last Robotnik fight and the Knuckles fight were rather difficult. You have got to be kidding me! That's it?! It just then pulls a Sonic 3 and K, and Tails just saves Sonic, and that is Sonic Pocket Adventure, and Robotnik is thinking to himself to get more Chaos Emeralds. How is this a 10 out of 10 on IGN? Never mind. That was the Sonic the Hedgehog Pocket Adventure Ultimate Challenge. Alright now, this challenge is over, so we can answer that yes, the Sonic the Hedgehog Pocket Adventure Ultimate Challenge is possible. Honestly, it's just a 7 out of 10 game in my opinion. I feel like IGN rated this too high. Then again, they can't get past the Cuphead tutorial and think there's too much water in Pokemon, so what am I to judge? Thanks for watching, and I will see you whenever the hell I decide to upload.